Well, all right, people. So, just the other day, MJF had returned to AEW. So I'm here to give my thoughts on this. And my thoughts are, thank fucking God that MJF is back. AEW has been a dumpster fire of irrelevancy for the last however many months he's been gone, 6 months or whatever. It's been slowly dying, AEW has. And yeah, it was kind of dying before before MJF went on this hiatus, but it's really been accelerated now because he was the only person in that company that had any sort of star power besides, of course, your washed up stars of the Attitude Era like Jericho and Edge and all these people who should be retired but are unfortunately still wrestling. I just saw the other day you had Edge like almost break his fucking legs jumping off of a steel cage, and people are like, this is awesome, this is awesome. What's awesome about a 50-year-old jumping off of a steel fucking cage when he should be retired? Guy's already broken his neck and he's still jumping off of cages like a fucking maniac. But MJF is back. Thank God somebody under the age of 30 in the wrestling world is actually like a star almost. I wouldn't say he's like a top star yet, but he's definitely on his way. So he cuts a promo. One thing I didn't like about it was first thing he does is reference WWE. It used to be kind of cool when WWE would reference a separate wrestling company because that rarely happened, or when AEW would do it to WWE, because that 5-10 years ago that was very rare that WWE would acknowledge that another company existed on their own show. Now it's like it happens every week, and it's getting stale when people are doing that. Holy fuck! Is like the reaction that everybody gives when that happens. I'm just like, yeah, let's try something new. It's like, when MJF started doing the whole kayfabe shit, where he wouldn't break kayfabe in interviews, and now everybody's trying to copy that and shit. You got Tony Khan looking like a fucking fool wearing a neck brace in the NFL draft. Everybody's trying to copy MJF, but MJF was the one who kind of brought that back to the mainstream. And, he's back. He's the only star under the age of 30. Or I use that, the word star is used too loosely in wrestling by the idiot wrestling community. I would say he's the only person under the age of 30 who you could like realistically say can be a new star. And by star, I mean on the likes of an Undertaker, on the likes of a Stone Cold, that kind of star. I'm not talking a mid-carder or even an upper mid-carder. I'm talking a star, a guy who can draw money, a guy who that not only wrestling fans know of, but casual fans know of, and even the general public knows of. Because like guys like Batista, everybody knows who Batista is. Everybody knows who The Undertaker is. Everybody knows who Stone Cold is or The Rock. Not everybody knows who MJF is yet. Can we get to that point in 5-10 years where everybody does? Hopefully, even Roman Reigns. Like most people, a lot of people in the general public who don't watch wrestling have heard of Roman Reigns. That's what I mean by star. So he's the only realistic person. So thank God we have a breath of fresh air in the wrestling world in MJF. It's not using, and of course AEW still does their stupid bullshit of having Edge jump off of a ladder, or I'm sorry, a steel cage, or they have Sting jumping off of fucking ladders, putting like 50 and 60-year-olds in these extreme spots to where that they can legitimately, paralyze themselves or kill themselves with the state that their bodies are in. So it's great to see that you got one breath of fresh air inside all the bullshit in the wrestling world now. I see people saying too, when it comes to using the word star loosely, like Braun Breaker's a star. No, he's fucking not. Braun Breaker could be a good mid-carder. He could have some talent in the ring, but he is not a star. He might be in the future, but he's not a star. Just because you're talented, just because you have talent or promos, whatever it may be, that doesn't automatically qualify you as a star. Just because you put on 5-star matches, according to Dave Meltzer, you're not a star. A star, again, is a Steve Austin. And the only person in WWE that's a star that was built during like the last decade is Roman Reigns. Other than that, you don't have a star. You don't have any stars. Nowhere close to a star, actually, to be quite honest. AEW, same thing. You don't have anything close to a star, with maybe the exception of MJF. So I'm glad he's back. Hopefully they do something with him that is entertaining, that is good. He's the only good thing in AEW that brings any sort of outside eyeballs to the product. Everything else, honestly, in AEW is a bunch of shit. I mean, again, you thought we would get a breath of fresh air with AEW, with you know, a new company, and they kind of were marketing themselves towards that more hardcore fans. That, by the way, those hardcore fans hated the part-timers. But what does AEW do? They do exactly what WWE does, and even do it more now than WWE is doing, with using all these guys like Edge and people in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s in the main event. So great to see MJF back. I'm a big fan of him. He's got great promo ability, and I'm glad to see him back. So there you go, people.